For Louisiana versus all y'all, Jarrett Roser here with 2025 Mandeville standout Nate Sheppard, who is a part of a Skippers team that has pulled two straight upsets to start the Division I playoffs and is in the quarterfinals this Friday night. A long trip up to Airline, the 4 seed in that Division I non-select bracket. Nate, we're practicing on Thanksgiving week. You have practice in a couple of hours the day before Thanksgiving. How's all that sound? How's it feel to be preparing for a quarterfinal game in Mandeville?
Since I've been at Mandeville, we haven't practiced on Thanksgiving, haven't made it to the quarterfinals. My brother's been there, so having his experience a little bit, telling me how it is, how it feels, and just seeing how everybody at school last week and at the game, and just like the environment was so nice.
What was Will's biggest advice or memory that he shared with you or anything like that going back to I think his senior year they made a deep run, and also as a lower seed they made a nice run. What did he have to say?
Yeah, basically just don't make it bigger than it is. It's just another game. Just play it how it is.
What has been kind of when you look at this team and what's made this year's team stand out, and obviously matchups go into certain things and whatnot, but this is a team that has seemed like it's playing really well at the right time of year. What has gone into that? What have you felt like has enabled y'all to be at this point as a group?
Yeah, through the season we've had some ups and downs, some tough losses, also some really good wins. And our coach has been saying our playoffs started week 9 against Hammond. We had to win every game to make it to the playoffs. So this is technically how we've been saying is our fifth week of playoffs, and just everybody being on the same winning mindset and everybody wanting to win offense, defense, everything just really brings it all together and ties it up.
When the coaches started talking to you guys about that and realizing that, it's kind of a make or break point in the season, what was the energy? How quickly could you see y'all as players kind of realize the significance of that and band together and just kind of that shift into where you are now and the way you're playing and executing?
Yeah, so we knew once we took our fourth loss against St. Paul's in week 8 that we're gonna have to really fight to get a good seed or get a seed where we're gonna be able to win in the playoffs. And so in the locker room, we just really put our heads down and focused on the game and winning, and just did everything we needed to get done.
For folks that haven't been around y'all's district much, how would you describe the football that's played there? Because whether it's a year where y'all have a team that people are looking at and saying that might be a state title team, and realizing that, with the ceiling might be the top end, or it's a year where like this year, it's more teams that are kind of overlooked a little bit, and people are saying, it might not be as good as Team X from last year, the year before, or whatever. It's always tightly contested, and people are beating each other up week in, week out. What is that like to play in if you're kind of describing to folks around the state that district?
Oh, yeah, everybody likes to talk down on the North Shore that we're weak over here and stuff, but all our games, I mean, anybody in our district can beat anybody. There's been some major upsets in our district. There's been some just major wins, major losses, and going into each week, knowing that the team that you're going to play can beat you, there's no easy wins. So just having that good football environment, I feel like it really prepares teams who are able to make it to the playoffs. We're playing really good teams already, so just going in the playoffs, it makes it a little easy for us.
You said, folks around the state might look down on the North Shore as though that's something that kind of a little chip on the shoulder is what it sounds like. How much with that perception do y'all enjoy being able to get into the playoffs and go upset some people and be one of the last 8 teams in your division standing?
Yeah, being able to do that because everybody, oh, the North Shore's soft and all this, but when we can go in there and beat the 12 seed and beat the 5 seed, then it's, oh, well, I don't know, because then, oh, it's a shock. It was just a fluke. But being able to take that and take that energy from all these people, just keep them haters away, and we're just gonna keep playing our ball.
Mandeville in particular has a history of going on some runs as a little bit of a lower seed. I mentioned Will was a part of a 19th seeded team that made a run, and we've seen, I think, might have been a 10 and a 13 or 9 and a 13 or whatever it was, were the teams that made the semis a few years before that. Do you have any thoughts on why that is something we've seen from that program through the years, with some level of consistency?
Um, I mean, I think it's just the energy around Mandeville and how we like really care for the game. You know, our district, like I said, it's ups and downs. Anybody can beat anybody. So the records in our district don't really matter as long as you have a winning record going into the playoffs. You know, you can beat anybody in those playoffs. So just knowing and having that mindset that you're just as good as anybody else in the state really helps push us.
Having already traveled a couple times, how much easier does that make turning around and taking a long trip on Friday?
Yeah, obviously this trip isn't gonna be easy. You know, we go up there, but we're gonna stop at LA Tech for a good bit, and then we're really breaking down our trip, so it's not gonna be too much fatigue. And I think after that Sam Houston trip and it being cold and raining, us being able to go out there and dominate, I think we have a lot of high spirits about having to travel far and still going out and dominating.
What's your outlook for the matchup in, you know, on the field, talking about the football side of things? You're a guy that you're kind of one of the headline guys statistically for what you guys are doing at Mandeville, that includes 1,500 rushing yards, whereas Airline is a team that is going to kind of do some different funky things at times offensively, throwing the ball around a whole lot, and Ben Taylor is one of the leading passers in the state, if not the leading passer in the state. How does that shake out when we get time to kick it off and you have two stylistically different teams?
Yeah, obviously we know their offense is very good and very talented, but I think our defense through the whole season, nobody's really able to just be able to pass the ball on us and just keep coming at us with the pass. So I think we're gonna do match up very well against their offense, and then their defense. I think our offense can match up against any defense in the state, so we're not too worried about that. But if we can get a couple stops in that offense, then I think we'll be okay.
Talking about y'all's defense, Emil had himself a nice night to help highlight that last week. Uh, what have you seen from him as he's continued to progress and come along? A guy in your class that you've known for a while to watch his progression. How impressed have you been with his play, and how cool is that to see?
Yeah, he's really improved as a player mentally and just on the field as a football player. You know, seeing the work that he puts in behind the scenes and how much he really wants it and to be great. It's really good to see like having that person on defense that can really be a leader and lead by example instead of just, he goes out there and he plays every game 100%. Even, I mean, he just does it.
And for you, from a year ago to now, to take the next steps in your game, where we're talking about you as a 1,500-yard rusher and 30 total touchdowns right now between the 28 on the ground and 2 receiving, what have you been proud of in your work and the way that you're seeing it play out on the field on Friday nights?
Yeah, obviously I got to credit my O-line first because, without them, I can't get all those touchdowns and all those rushing yards. So, credit goes out to them. But once I can get past that first line, really being able to, I really worked on my open field and stuff and just being able to get a little shiftier and get around those defenders so I can break off those big runs and then just developing the run game all around. That's really what I focused on the off season.
Smart man, dude. Give those big guys their love, because it's got to start with them for whatever you're doing offensively.
Of course.
Um, any kind of thoughts, message, whatever, to fans, folks that are considering making the long drive up to follow y'all and support y'all on Friday night?
Just thank y'all. We appreciate y'all.
You got it. Again, he's Nate Sheppard, the standout 2025 running back for Mandeville, 21 seed, who's heading up to face the 4th seeded Airline Vikings on Friday night in the Division I non-select playoffs. And for Louisiana versus all y'all, Jarrett Roser. Nate, appreciate you, my man.
Thank you.